Jesse Hendricks, sophomore, flanker.
Adam Caping, sophomore, tailback.
Andy Metzel, senior, defensive back.
Jake Bosick, junior, defensive back.
Adam Himley, senior, tailback.
Alan Emmons, senior, defensive back. Eric Klass, sophomore, quarterback.
Mike Christensen, senior, defensive back.
Drew Schleer, senior, defensive back, Nasty Boys. Matt Flutie, sophomore, linebacker.
Kyle Wemling, senior, defensive back.
Todd Sully, junior, defensive back.
Melrose, no senior, defensive back.
Scott Kirkhoff, senior, quarterback.
Adam Schulin, senior, flanker.
Mark Albernson, senior, D-back.
Brian Koski, junior, end. Brian Caping, senior, flanker. Matt Lobeck, senior, defensive back. Sigardi, senior, defensive end.
David Harbar, junior, defensive back.
Tim Fody, senior, split end, free safety. Jason Indra, junior, defensive back. Chris Davis, senior, fullback.
Mike Marvin, running back and linebacker, juniors.
Steve Ellis, junior, fullback, and linebacker.
Jason Wall, junior, defensive back.
Andy Robinson, junior, tight end, linebacker. Andy Kosek, senior, center.
Greg Lindor, senior, defensive end.
Scott Walling, junior, tackle. Jeremy Blyle, senior, tackle.
Charlie Becker, senior, defensive end.
John Marvin, senior, tackle. Nick Bockham, senior, nose guard, offensive guard, one of the Nasty Boys. BJ Irvin, senior, linebacker, I'm the other Nasty Boy.
Ryan Roberts, junior, guard. Travis Borstead, junior, tackle.
Josh Drake, senior, tackle.
Jeff Tallman, senior, offensive defensive tackle.
Andy Brown, junior, center.
John Schmidt, junior, tackle.
Todd Doschel, junior, tackle.
Tom Kittrick, junior, tight end and defensive end. Matt Polkbeck, senior, tight end. Jake Grubke, junior, tight end, defensive.
Tom Engwall, senior, tight end.
Tom King, senior, defensive end.
Randy Rosberg, head football coach. Andy Rosberg,
Dan Brickman, offense.
Bruce Rosen, offense. Jim Mills, defensive end coach. Keith Pierce, defense. Dave Larson, linebacker coach. Nathan Levitt, defense. Ryan Bachman, defense.
Evening from SR Knutson Field on a beautiful autumn night. Tonight this is Don Hansen along with Dave Hansen and the crew from HCVN TV bringing you a delayed broadcast of one of the great early season football games slated to be in the state. Tonight, two teams with 1-0 records collide and an early season pivotal game. This is really a big game because the Northfield Raiders are the defending state 4A football champs and are currently ranked number 1 in Class 4A. Of course, Hutch is right behind, and they're ranked second this week, Dave, in 4A.
Yeah, they moved up a couple spots from last week after the win over GSL, Hutchinson that is, so it's number 1 versus number 2 in early Minnesota Conference action. Should be outstanding, as you mentioned. There's a lot of top-flight players on both teams, and a lot of state football fans around the state. Looking forward to the outcome. I heard on the radio on the way home from work today that this is the featured game in the state, so there probably will be a lot of highlights on the local news stations at 10:30 tonight.
Yeah, and Northfield, of course, has defeated Hutch the last 4 times, so nothing Coach Rosberg would like more than to go out with a victory here. Of course, we could meet again in postseason play. In the past 5 seasons, Northfield's won over 85% of their games, and I believe they've been in the Prep Bowl 4 out of the last 5 seasons.
Of course, they won it all last year, as you mentioned. But both teams lost heavily to graduation. Northfield only returns 4 starters, and they play 8 people both ways. and Hutchinson lost a lot to graduation too. So, and as you know, Hutchinson plays some players both ways, so that could be a critical part of the game too, with the temperatures near 80 degrees on this early fall evening. As you mentioned, it's a beautiful night for the fans, but it might get a little warm for some of these players.
All right, tonight as you watch this game, there's a Division I prospect out there for the Raiders. His name is Dan Taggart. He's an end, number 95. He's 6'3", 215. He plays tight end on offense and defensive end on defense. And then their best runner is number 43, Phil Reams. He's 5'11", 195, a senior. He rushed for 7 TDs a year ago on 864 yards and led them in rushing in their early victory over Edison last week. Also, the guy that we've watched a lot is their nose guard in there, John Simones. He's number 50, and boy, I'll tell you, he's caused Hutch problems from the time he was a sophomore. He's very difficult to block at the nose, and I think he plays offensive guard too.
Yeah, he seems like he's been there forever. He's finally a senior, but can't come any too quick for the Tiger players and coaches. Northfield, for the first time in several years this year, did not open their season against a tough Wisconsin Menominee team last week. Instead, they played Minneapolis Edison, and they had a very good showing. In fact, they held Edison to negative yardage on the ground for the entire game. I think the only way Edison scored was on a long return of a kick, I believe.
Yeah, 37-7. Yeah, and this year, I think both Northfield and Hutchinson will rely more on balanced attack. They've both been really predominantly rushing teams in the past, and tonight I look for the Tigers to open it up and spread the field. And from what I read and have talked to Coach Rosberg, this Colin Perkins, he's a senior quarterback at 6'1", 190. He's a good thrower too, and he had some experience last year when they did rest Holm, their quarterback, a year ago. Well, then Perkins came in, and in throwing situations, many times he was the quarterback.
Yeah, Northfield appears, like you said, to be balanced, and their sophomore team was undefeated last year, and of course now many of those players are playing varsity for the team that we'll see tonight. In the sophomore game tonight, I think Northfield did beat Hutchinson again, like 14-6, so they got a powerhouse for a team, program, I should say, coming, and it's just a good feeder program, and that's obvious, I guess, as you mentioned, 4 of the last 5 years in the Prep Bowl.
Yeah, and of course, Hutch is going to have to guard against kind of coming down off an emotional win against their rival over there in Glencoe Silver Lake. That was a good game, 24-14 last week that we carried, and you probably had a chance, we hope, the viewing fans, to see that on HCVN this past week. So Hutch has really been trying to improve their blocking techniques. That's what they found they lacked a little bit over there with their inexperienced line. They did get her together there about halfway through the second quarter and made some adjustments, and they'll try and spring some holes for Chris Davis again tonight, the outstanding senior halfback.
Yeah, last week we noticed that when they went to the wishbone formation, they had some problems in their blocking schemes, and I'm sure they worked all week in practice on that, and I'm sure we'll see that again tonight, hopefully with better productivity out of that formation with Chris Davis and the 2 capings behind him in that wishbone formation. So Chris Davis is the key to the ground game, but Scott Kirchhoff, the quarterback, the senior, number 17, had an excellent week throwing the ball last week. He zipped a number of passes in there and also showed nice touch when he had to on the fade patterns down the sideline.
Yeah, so this should be an outstanding high school football game. Everybody's looking forward to this one, and so we're about to join Roger Hagemeyer, and when he starts the introductions, and here he is.
High School wishes to welcome you to SR Canuson Field at the first home football game of the Hutchinson Tigers' 1998 football season. Minnesota Conference action this evening, the visiting team with a 1-0 record, the Northfield Raiders. And the home team with an identical 1-0 record, the Hutchinson Tigers. Here are the starting lineups for tonight's game. Starting first of all for Northfield in the offensive team. At tight end, 6'3", 215-pound senior, Dan Taggart, number 95, Taggart. At 1 tackle, 6', 215-pound senior, Josh Overby, number 52, Overby. At the other tackle, 6', 200-pound sophomore, Steve Taggart, number 54, Taggart. Starting at center, 6'1", 200-pound senior, Jim Anderson, number 56, Anderson. Starting at 1 guard, 5'11", 205-pound senior, John Simones, number 50, Simones. At the other guard, 6'1", 260-pound senior, Paul Smith, number 74, Smith. At a wide receiver, 6', 180-pound senior, Matt Faust, number 21, Faust. At the other wide receiver, 6'1", 185-pound senior, Gregory Wilson, number 32, Wilson. At a running back, 5 foot 9 inch, 175 pound senior, Joe Gardner, number 24, Gardner. At the other running back, 5 foot 11, 195 pound senior, Philip Remish, number 43, Renish. And starting tonight at quarterback, 6 foot 1 inch, 190 pound senior, Colin Perkins, number 15, Perkins. Head coach, Bubba Sullivan, his assistants in the balance of the Trojan squad. And now the starting defensive unit for the Hutchinson Tigers. Starting at 1M, 6 foot 1 inch, 180 pound senior, Jesse Doherty, number 26, Doherty. At the other end, 6 foot 1 inch, 180 pound senior, Tom King, number 94, King. Starting at 1 tackle, 5 foot 10 inch, 202 pound senior, John Marvin, number 62, Marvin. At the other tackle, 6 foot 4 inch, 200 pound senior, Jeff Dahlman, number 74, Dahlman. Starting at nose guard, 5 foot 10 inch, 186 pound senior, co-captain Mick Bockham, number 63, Bockham. At 1 linebacker, 6 foot 1 inch, 210 pound senior, Chris Davis, number 32, Davis. At the other linebacker, 6 foot, 195 pound senior, BJ Irvin, number 64, Irvin. At 1 corner, 5 foot 8 inch, 152 pound senior, Colin Emmons, number 7, Emmons. At the other corner, 6 foot, 170 pound senior, co-captain Jake Slater, number 12, Slater. Starting at 1 safety, 5 foot 11 inch, 170 pound senior, Mike Christensen, number 11, Christensen. At the other safety, 5 foot 11, 180 pound senior, co-captain Paul Rosenow, number 16, Rosenow. Head coach Brady Rockford, his assistants in the balance of the Tiger squad. We ask all of you now to stand and honor America and join in with 2 of our seniors, Amanda Peak and Sarah Shubb, as they lead us in the national anthem. The flag will be raised by members of the Boy Scout Troop 246 of Hutchinson.
Okay, we thank Amanda Peak and Sarah Shubb for their singing of the national anthem. Did a nice job on that, and get ready to start this game now from SR Knutson Field in Hutchinson.
Well, I believe Northfield won the toss and elected to defer, as most high school teams do, so they'll have their choice in the second half. So Hutchinson will get the ball, pending a turnover here on this kickoff, but they'll receive the ball on the east end of the stadium here, going into the sun slightly until it sets here. It's about 7 o'clock game time, of course, a half hour earlier than in the past.
We should probably clear up one thing, too, that we talked a lot about that kickoff play last week, that very controversial play, and we said Buzz was arguing whether or not you could catch the ball before it bounced. Well, it turned out when they got into the fine print in the rule book and they called the high school league on it, that Buzz was right, that you had to let the ball hit, and the officials had to apologize for their error on that. But sometimes you have to make that quick decision, and it is kind of a tough call on that, and it's different in high school than it is in college and the pro ranks that we're so used to watching.
Number 28 for Northfield is the kicker, Ryan Fleesick. He's a senior at 5'7", 140. Deep for the Tigers are Caping, Davis, and Caping.
Ryan Pleachuk will be kicking off for Northfield deep to receive.
Pleachuk kicking off on the 40-yard line. Probably one of their soccer players turned football player. That's Chris Davis has got the ball. He's looking for an opening. He goes up the sidelines, dropped over there by number 12 on the play for the Northfield team. That was Jordan Holm, and you won't, not the last time you're going to hear his name, Dave.
No, he's tough, number 12. He's only a junior, and he is a linebacker, quarterback, 5'11", 200 pounds. So he's got good size for that position in high school.
Taken right over from his brother, who quarterbacked the Raiders the last couple years and was an outstanding player, and they're both outstanding wrestlers. I think they both probably placed in the state meet, so he'll be all over the field. All right, the Tigers come up in their I formation. They got Davis in the tailback position. They get 13 leading. He tries to knock out the end. Davis swings wide. He's got some yardage, and he's going to be driven out of bounds, but had a nice gain of about 9 yards on the play. Tigers lined up a little different formation that time. They had Matt Thody in there playing the blocking back.
Injury right away. I can't tell who it is. It's on the near side. The trainers for the Tigers are out. It is...
Might be Matt Davis, or did he, Chris Davis, or did he get up?
It's not Davis.
Oh.
It's one of the linemen, I believe. I can't see. You said it was led by number 13. That's Matt Thody, the sophomore that was out in front of that play. He just gave Davis enough room to get around the corner and gain 7.
So, we'll have to try and catch the injury, and while they're looking over the injury, we'll take a break, and we'll be back after they've tended to this injury. Bacham, isn't it?
Okay, we'll go in 5, Sue. Number 63, Nick Bacham, was the injured Tiger. He's the guard at 5'10", 186. Hopefully it's not a serious injury. He comes over to the near side and appears to be walking it off.
Dinged up his leg. Davis gained about 8 on the play. Davis got the ball again, looks for an opening, steps up over the middle. First down on the play as the Tiger offensive line opened up a hole in there, and believe it's a first down. So they spotted the ball back a little ways, and so for a minute I thought that it might be close. But Tigers get their first down as Roseno brings into play. Number 16, flanking far out on the left side is Ryan Caping. Matt Thody continues to run at fullback, and they hand the ball. No, it's a fake. Looking downfield, they throw a pass. I don't know, that one didn't, kind of got away from Kirkhoff.
No, that was deflected by number 85, I believe, 95.
Taggart,
the defensive end. 6'3", got one of those big mitts up there and knocked it down and never had a chance.
I thought it was kind of a duck on the play, and Kirkhoff throws a pretty tight spiral, so I didn't see the ball deflected on the play. So the Tigers now are faced with second down from their own 42-yard line. They split Caping wide left, and Roseno is in the slot. Passing play again. There's a pass out to Caping. He's got it. He dances, looks for room. He's not going to get any. He manages to get close to a first down. Give him about 9 on the play, maybe 8.
Well, one of the Northfield players, a defensive back, came in head first with the headgear, and that's something you don't want to see in any level of football, especially high school, but it wasn't seen by the official. But that one was right in the back of Caping. That looked like it hurt.
Can't use your helmet as a weapon, and of course that's where people get hurt doing that, and that's one of the things they emphasize so much nowadays in sports. So, all right, the Tigers are faced with a 3rd and 2. Northfield comes up tight. They're playing a 5-3. Tigers running Thody inside, give it to Davis. Davis dances outside. He's got room. He breaks outside, carries the ball all the way down to the Northfield 30, close to the 34-yard line.
16 yards for Chris Davis, who's looked impressive thus far early in the game. 3 carries, 27 yards, of course, led by that big 16-yard carry there on his 3rd carry of the game. Another first down.
Trojan 34-yard line.
Bacham still on the sideline trying to walk off an ankle sprain. They've taped up his left ankle a little bit. They'll need him in there on defense. I think he's going to be back, but right now we'll have to get these offensive linemen. There's Kirkhoff on the pitch to Davis. Davis looking wide outside. Davis makes a corner, and he's knocked out of bounds inside the 25, about at the 24-yard line. So give him another close to a first down. We'll see where they spot it.
11 yards, I think.
Yep, another 11 for Davis.
Well, that time, number 22, Ryan Caping, did just what he had to do. He shielded his man and gave Davis the corner. they're not punishing blocks by any means, but they get the job done and allow Davis to run for the first down.
Okay, we'll get these offensive linemen for the Tigers in here. One is Brian Gillespie. He's 6'1", 255. Now is a draw inside to Matt Thody, and Thody is snuffed right at the line of scrimmage. Not fooled on that play at all, and so it's going to bring up 2nd and 10. John Schmidt's out there at one tackle. He's 6'5", 225, so the tackles are 225, 255 for the Tigers. Center is number 54, that's Andy Kosick. Bachum's still on sidelines, I believe. I didn't see him go back in there at block yet. We'll have to catch who's playing guard. 76, Dahlman playing one guard, but he was in there before, so it'd be the other guard. Okay, here's a little quick pass over the middle, complete to Rosno. Rosno still on his feet. Rosno still struggling down to the 6-yard line. Nice look-in pass by Kirchhoff on the play.
Beautiful throw and catch that time. That went for, let's see, 19 yards all the way from the 25 down to the 6. So a great quick opener looking pass that time. Rosno ran after he caught it too.
The Raiders' 6-yard line.
Matt Polkerbeck, 84, brings a play in, replacing number 30, Tim Thody, on the play. He was in there on that offensive series. He comes in and out. Number 55 for the Tigers is Greg Wendorf. He's playing that guard in there, Wendorf. Tigers 1st and 6. It's the option play to Davis. Somebody's coming up quick this time, and Davis isn't going to get back quite to the line of scrimmage, I don't think, as one of the defenders, number 43.
45, Gray Herzberg, a junior, strong safety, came up and made the play he's supposed to. He has a pitch man on that option play. That time Davis couldn't get the corner. He needed one man there.
Yep, he lost a yard. Bachum back in at that left guard position.
Well, the Tigers have moved the ball nicely from their own 31, but they are in the red zone, as they call it. This is where the defense gets tough and their yards get tougher.
Okay, there's Davis up the middle. Davis looking for the goal line, and he's close. He's just going to be short about a foot as the big halfback tonight. Played fullback last week, up back. Tonight he's playing in the tailback position. He rambled her down to a 1-yard line. Give him about 6.
Well, that time there was a nice hole for him right off the guard tackle hole there, and that Davis hit the line in a hurry and gained 5 yards. It's 3rd down and goal from the 1 with 8:03 to go in the first quarter.
Well, the Tigers use kind of a quick opener here. The Raiders are packed in tight. They got 3 guys over the center, so the Tigers go right off the right tackle, and Davis rambles in for his 34th touchdown of his career. Nice drive by the Tigers. Mix of pass and run in there, Dave.
Yeah, it sure was. Davis was the workhorse, of course, on the ground with 7 carries and 33 yards on that drive, but 2 completed passes out of 3 attempts for 27 yards, 1 to Rosno, 1 to Ryan Caping on a nice mix, and Tigers go 69 yards on their opening possession.
So coming in is Christensen, number 11, will be the snapper. The holder is number 30, Tim Thody, and that's Colin Emmons, number 7, that will make the attempt at the extra point. Looks good, and it is, and the Tigers go up 7-0 with 7:50 remaining in the first quarter, as the Tigers looked impressive on that 69-yard drive.
That extra point, perfect snap, place, and kick that time, as there were some questionable snaps last week, and I'm sure another week of practice made that one a beautiful snap. So Tigers do just what they wanted to do, keeping Northfield off the field with their offense, and Northfield gave them the possession with the deferral of the toss. So Tigers offense did what they were supposed to and scored 7 points, 7-0 with 7:50 to go in the first quarter.
So the Tigers came out with a new look. That's the first time we'd seen Matt Thody in there. I suppose he's a pretty good blocker, 13. He's only a sophomore. His size is 6 feet, 187 pounds. So he's got some nice size. He's quick. He's a track man. And he opened some holes for Davis, and Davis used his ability there at running back, and they made good use of it during that drive.
Well, that's a nice job of coaching by Coach Grady Rosberg and his staff, showing Northfield something that they didn't show last week. And the scouts obviously were in Glencoe to watch the GSL Hutchinson game, and they didn't see Thody in the up back or Davis running deep. Of course, last year Davis ran from that position, but not last week.
Well, Davis was the workhorse in there. One thing about that, on those long drives where he's carrying the ball, that will limit his effectiveness. He's probably the best linebacker. There's a squib kick. It's loose, and that was a line drive. It hit a lineman for Northfield, and they'll be lucky to recover it. I think they got it, but The Tigers were within a foot, but gives Northfield awfully good field position on the 42, as they didn't mean to hit an up back there at all.
Well, that's the chance you take when you try and squib it through there, and it did hit one of the linemen, and it turned out to be a break for Northfield as they get it on the 42-yard line. But last week those kicks worked very effectively for Emmons as he was able to pin GSL deep in their own territory.
All right, so the Northfield offense, see what they'll do. That's Colin Perkins at center, or at quarterback, and they hand it inside to the tailback, Phil Reams. He gets a yard or two on the play. Nick Bockham.
And John Marvin,
Okay.
number 62 there too. We called his name a lot last week, and it's good to see Bockham in there as well.
Kings at one end, Doherty at the other end. Bockham is playing a tackle. Looks like they've got Dahlman over the nose and Marvin at the right side tackle. Tigers are stunning around a little on the shift. They get over into the hole, and again the ball's handed to Taggart, I believe. No, it wasn't Taggart that time. Was it number 24?
Gardner, I think.
Gardner got.
Dahlman, number 74, just who you mentioned at the nose, made the tackle for the Tigers. Who do we have in at linebackers? We got B.J. Irvin and looks like Thody at the linebackers, and Rosno, Emmons, Schleter, and Christensen at the defensive backs.
Passing down here, we'll see how Perkins' arm is. He threw the ball last year. He was their throwing quarterback in some instances on their state championship team. Tigers fake the blitz, and here comes the big receiver. Tigers throwing that one down, and boy, B.J. Urban was all over Perkins that time and made him throw that much sooner than he wanted to.
Perfect timing on the blitz. Northfield even went with the delayed count, they anticipated that blitz, I think. They saw Irvin coming, but he did a nice job of not jumping, timed it perfectly and wasn't picked up, and had a free shot at the quarterback, Perkins.
Perkins did a nice job of getting rid of that because he saved 10 on that one, and so Tigers defense does a job on the first series. 15 is back to punt. Oh, there's a short kick, and everybody's going to get away from that one. Oh, good bounce, on the part of Northfield, and he got about 12, 15 yards after the ball hit the ground, and so he was fortunate to get it down to the 20-yard line, where the Tigers will take over 80 yards away as they get their second possession with 6:19 remaining in quarter one. They lead 7-0.
Very fortunate not only to get the roll on that punt, but to get it not have it blocked, I should say. Tom King, the end, came in free, was just shy of blocking that one, and it was a kind of a shank, but it rolled about 20 yards after it hit, so it turned out to be a 35-yard punt, which is about average for high school.
Okay, so the Tigers go back in the I formation. Matt Thody again playing the up back in front of Davis, and Caping split wide this way. There's the pitch. Davis cuts up into the hole and runs right by the force man 21 that came in there and made nice yardage once again.
Well, we see who's going to be the workhorse tonight. That's pretty obvious. It's Chris Davis, number 32. He gained 6 yards that time. That's already his 8th carry on this, just the second possession for the Tigers.
Second and 3, the ball is on the 27.
Matt Polkerbeck, number 84, brings in the play this time, replacing number 87, Tom Ingwall.
Tigers usually over the years have rotated plays a lot of times with their ends or flanker backs. Ryan Caping split far left. Tigers tight end, look in, pass there, high over Tim Thody's hands, and that was just a little too much zing on that one. He didn't lay it in there as Thody had broken free in that zone there, just between the linebackers and the safeties.
Coach Grady Rosberg down on the sidelines, you can see he's saying that one was there, because it was. Thody had broken free from the linebacker covering him, and had that pass been a little lower, he would have had a nice gain, certainly 10, 15 yards.
Well, see if the Tigers put it back up here as it's 3rd and about 4. No, they hand it to Davis, and Davis is going to be stopped in there. It's going to bring up a kicking situation as Northfield was up to the task that time and held Davis to no yardage on that 3rd and about 3. So the Tigers will have to punt the ball as Christensen comes in, and last week it was Ingwald that punted.
Well, we were commenting just before the game that there didn't look like there were too many Northfield fans here. Well, they're late arriving fans, I guess, because they have almost the whole far side of the field, as you can see there, filled with the Northfield Raider fans, and it's a nice crowd. Of course, it's a good program and a good following in Northfield.
and their team is ranked number 1 in the state. All right, see if we get a good snap, which Christensen makes. There's the kick by Ingwall. It's kind of a end-over-end down to the 31-yard line. Some yardage there to be made as the Tigers were a little slow getting down, and they return the ball back to about the 48-yard line where they'll take over in their own territory, their second drive. With 4:46 remaining here in quarter 1, the Raiders go on offense for the second time.
Well, that was a 43-yard punt, but he got back at least 16 on the return, so the net isn't that great. But it was a long end-over-end punt that did the job for the most part, but good field position again for the Raiders.
They were kind of blocking some of our men trying to get down, which they always do, of course. I think one was Emmons trying to get down, cover that. So we'll see if the Raiders go up on top a little sooner this time. Long count. No, they hand it to Reams, their bread and butter man, and he breaks for 5. That's the best yardage they've gotten on a single play.
Good surge by the right side of that offensive line. I think number 74, Dahlman, made the tackle, but not until he had gained 5 yards. That's Reams.
Well, remember, Reams got a lot of yardage last year, 846 yards, and so he's certainly a veteran.
I have a feeling the Tigers are going to want to keep Chris Davis out on defense as much as possible, as he's going to be carrying the ball so much offensively tonight.
Number 7 is split wide. That's Niebuhr. He's on the near side of the field. And there's Reams once again, and Reams breaks into the secondary for a first down all the way to the Tiger 35-yard line.
Best gainer of the night for Northfield. That's about 10 yards on that play by Reams, so he's gobbled up 15 yards on the last 2 plays after being stymied in their first possession.
They went right at the right. It looks like they favor running to the right, Dave. Almost every play they've run went to the right side, so that's over there, Dahlman and Backham. They're kind of alternating. Marvin's running this side at right tackle for the Tigers. See if they come this way this time. Oh, that was a broken play. I'm sure that Perkins wanted to hand it to somebody, and one of the backs went the wrong direction, and he was left in no man's land back there, and he was hit for a 2-yard loss. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I have a feeling that Perkins went the wrong way that time, just based on the slants on the line and how quickly some of the Tigers were in on that right side. I think they were blocking that play to the left.
I was going to mention that number 56 for the Tigers, Scott Walling, comes in at the tackle on the left side there, replacing Dahlman. Give him a little rest. So Walling in there at the tackle. Man in motion is 12. Well, he looked like he was going forward. They're going to get it too. So that number 12 for the Raiders, that was Jordan Holm. He turned up a little bit, Dave.
Yeah, you got to wait till the ball is snapped before you turn up field, unless you're playing Canadian football, and we aren't here. And so that's going to cost 5 yards if the Tigers elect to take that penalty, which I would think they would.
Yeah, because there was a gain of about 6 on the play, I'm sure. So Northfield will go back. The line of scrimmage had been prior to that the 37-yard line, 36.5. They'll mark off 5, and so we'll place the ball on about the 42-yard line, maybe 43-yard line. It's kind of right halfway, I'd say. Holm is a good ball player.
Northfield shows a lot of different sets. They show motion, split, and split backs, and that's what they're in this time.
Yeah. Okay, here's the pass. They're looking downfield. They got a little screen set up over here, and Metzger Irvin looked like he got held on the play, but they didn't throw the flag, so he was held. But that's a nice yardage for the Raiders on the little screen to the left side. Irvin tried to make the tackle, but he was being delayed, let's say, in there.
Well, he got 15 yards, and they're just 1 yard short of a first down, so that's the first completion by Perkins tonight. Nice gainer, but you said, I think you were right, B.J. Irvin was being held. He was the only man out here that had a chance to make that play for minimal yards.
They ran Schleter off on the play. They sent number 7 deep on the play, Niebauer, and he went deep downfield. He drew